This is Kendra Jones, and welcome to The Quiet Storm. No, I'm just playing. Hey, everybody, welcome to Study the Ascent. Man, this episode, we're going to get into mindset. I basically watched the Kanye documentary, and let's talk about it. This is already a mindset podcast, a mindset just space. Study the Ascent is a mindset brand. And something that I like about myself and the way that I'm able to process information is it definitely goes through a feel filter. I'm feeling for, does this resonate as truth in my reality? And so, something that I thought was interesting while watching the Kanye documentary, and we all know how controversial of a person that he is, but a lot of what he was saying, there was a lot of truth in that. And I do believe the way in which he talked to himself, the way his mother talked to him, the things that he said it to us so many times out loud, as in the public. Imagine those things that he was saying inside his mind. I know he was telling himself he was great here, many more times before he was saying it out loud. And so I really want to talk about some of the things that was said, some of the things that I observed, and some things that resonated with me as truth. So let's talk about it. So I recently had someone respond to me in which I asked them, hey, I see you guys are having a conference. I am focusing on just building a brand and awareness, a presence, a social presence around mindset and studying the ascent of your own progress and studying the ascent of people who have made progress in whatever their various expertise was. And they basically said, like, it was a trading conference that I'm going to in May. And basically, they said something along the lines of, well, I don't really think that flows with the program. And one, I don't think that either they didn't really understand or the person didn't want to make no sound bad or something. Because with trading, if anybody knows about it, technical analysis is about this much of trading. Trading teaches you a lot about yourself, about your patience, about places within that you struggle. And mindset is everything in life in general, but definitely in trading, having a certain mindset to allow yourself to take the moves, to allow yourself to, hey, I'm not pressed about if this particular trade's a winner. I know what my probability is out of 10 trades. And I definitely recommend for all or any traders that might be listening to tap into Mark Douglas. He heavily talks about it. He talks about millionaire traders that end up losing everything after they've made it, and they go back and basically, how would I say, they trace that thing back to them not feeling worthy, or that money is evil, or a multitude of things from their childhood that, yes, they got this thing, they willed themselves to have it, but because of where their mindset was, they also willed themselves to lose it. And so I just don't understand how, if it's going to be an actual trading conference, how are we not talking about mindset? So I hope that's not true. And I'm about 95% sure it's not, because Q Banks and some of the other people I follow that are going to be there definitely understand that it's a mindset thing. So maybe they're just going to weave it into what they're talking about, including the technicals, and maybe not so much a separate breakout from it. However, let's get back to Kanye. So, boom, just thinking about what we talked about with trading, finances, and how people who've made a lot of money, their mindset could also make them lose a lot of money. Those same things in terms of how Donda raised him. When we saw those videos from when he was a child, You can all he was Kanye then. He was Kanye then. This is you could tell he was a bit quirky. Like there was something that didn't exactly we've been around. Some of us have been in different ways. I feel like there's always in which we don't exactly fit the mold, which honestly I believe is translated to okay, well things are just falling over here. It's translated to what we're actually supposed to be doing, and our gifts are often the ways we feel that we don't fit in. So you saw him on the home video. My name is Kanye, and I'm here to say, like really precursor to what he actually became. And from what I could see, Donda was a person that just fed his quirks and didn't allow him to self-deprecate. Like it just didn't seem like people putting themselves down or her telling her son to quiet down was a thing in their household. Because why should we raise children like that? In my opinion, the world's going to do that for you. There's always going to be a million other voices in the world, plus a million plus, that are saying what you or a loved one can't do, won't make it, not this enough, not that enough. Why within our own household, from the person that created you, would you instill that into a child? And it only happens when someone successfully instilled it in a parent and they weren't made aware of what was going on, and so they passed it on. But it just feels like Donda, she was quirky herself. I felt like there was something about her that wasn't, straight laced and fit neatly inside a box. And I love people like that. I consider myself like that. I be quirky. We're supposed to be. Why we all want to be normal? Weird. Average is overrated. So I see her breathing life and speaking life into a son that's just like, I'm gonna see where it goes. I'm gonna keep feeding him, keep affirming what he wants to do. If this is a child that is doing talent shows and going on stages, and this is obviously something that he has a passion for as a child. And so all she did was fed that. So Kanye grew up having a mother that instilled an inner voice, because I read something that said how you speak to your child becomes their inner voice. And it blew me away because, yeah, heavily yes. It takes us so long sometimes to figure out who we are when we've been spoken to or treated in certain ways to come back to ourselves. So definitely, if you have a positive environment, it plays a heavy impact. Who could tell you anything bad about yourself when your mom thinks you're dope? We've seen it a million times, even when we didn't, the only a mother could love. And that's just saying we're supposed to be feeding into the people around us. We're supposed to be affirming them. But yet she kept it real. She kept it real. There's a level of balance to what we consider arrogance versus confidence. And I don't believe it's where society tells us it is. Society wants us to lack confidence, follow the crowd, do what everybody else is doing so you don't stand out. If you do stand out, now we're afraid that everybody's looking at us. We don't really want to stand out because we want the benefits of what it feels like to fit in. And so when you have a unpopular opinion or any other way that makes you stick out negatively, there's an energy around that attached to you are now outside of the herd. You're in the cold. But what I believe the true balance is I can do anything on this planet that I want to, if I want to do it. What I make and what I create is dope. It is. So when Kanye was saying things like, my album is the greatest. Oh, you like my album too? Oh, I think you have good taste. I get that. Why would I lie? Why would I try to be meek? We're being meek is the avatar. It's when we have to play society. Oh, this is a common trope, a common actor role when someone compliments you to downplay it. No, that's a role. That's a role because we really do think what we're doing is dope. We really do think what we put out is the best. We're supposed to. And if you realize he said, I think I'm the greatest. And so should you. He wasn't putting himself above everyone except people who thought in a certain way, in a herd mentality and didn't live for themselves. He was saying we should all be here. We should all think that we're the greatest. We should all put out the great works and think that they're great and not have to downplay compliments that we get. Why? We're created to be great. We can really do whatever we want to do. Why do we have to downplay that? Who would make us downplay that but people who don't believe in themselves? Who would make you tell you that something you really believed in and something that you created isn't that great? Well, it's great, but like not that great. You don't want to be arrogant. Like it's not the top, but it's cool. Like you can still be excited about it, but don't do too much because it's kind of rude. It's rude because you're saying you think you're better than everybody else, and that, like, who do you think you are? That's weird. That's weird. If we honestly say a lot of the thought processes out loud that we play out in society, that shit is weird. It is. But we grew up in it. That is the society part. Everybody's going this way, so we go this way. We've been going this way for a long time. Oh, somebody's going the other way. You stepped out of line. That's all controversial even means. But like I said in a podcast before, we also praise the people that don't step out of line because secretly we want to, wow, he has the courage to actually say it out loud. And we call those people celebrities. Athletes can be different because they stand out physically, so it's more, but people who stand out with the way that they think get demonized a lot. And, whatever his mental divergence is, the way in which his brain is different than everybody else's, that's his business. That's his thing. Like we all have certain mental divergences to where our brains are different than anybody else's. It doesn't mean that what he was saying in certain moments weren't the truth. Very much the opposite. There were some very controversial things that he said. His comment about abortion, and people like to, as soon as you say the word, people want to jump. But he just put his own experience into perspective. He said, I wasn't thinking clearly. And I told Kim to abort my daughter. And I'm so glad that she stood up for the life that was growing inside of her, that she protected. I'm so glad she stood up for that and said no. Because now that he's had the experience, he realized that that was the reality that he didn't really want. And that he, at the time, his judgment was clouded. And I think what he was trying to bring awareness to was how our judgment can be clouded in certain situations and how we can make a very permanent decision based on a very temporary situation. Same thing with him. His dad, he said, was too busy, told Donda to abort him, and he didn't. And look, he got emotional about that, and people were, oh yeah, he's crazy. Why are y'all listening? This is why I be calling stuff the Matrix. Because if you disagree with something, genuinely disagree with it, but understand it and disagree with it. Don't immediately apply it. Oh, he said a word. Now you're jumping on that based on the energy of the word and how society has made. How do you actually feel about it? What has your experience actually been? Apply that. Do you hear and feel what he's saying? Why would you chastise him for that experience? That's a real statement. I'm confused. And this is a part of society I hate, because there's so many people ready to regurgitate what society has said or what most people say, that they're actually not even listening. You don't actually know what's going on. The mic's been over there the whole time. I just noticed that. Let me bring that. You actually don't know what's going on. You just talking. You're talking in a way that you feel like will be accepted by other people. And that's it. It's nothing special about it. You think it's your own genuine opinion, but it's just an opinion that's been consistently pounded into your head. It's not actually yours. Embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And we've all been there. So this isn't a like we should feel bad, but we've all been there when you really think about it, like, wait, that's actually not how I feel. Or, well, you hear an opposing opinion that actually gets explained, maybe from somebody you respect, so that you actually listen. And you're like, oh, well, I never thought about it that way. Yeah, because you never thought about it, really. You just heard what other people were saying. You regurgitated that. I resonated with the documentary a lot. I've been finding myself having to de-chip my shoulders based on people not seeing me or not feeling me or not immediately just putting me on whatever I feel like they should do based on who I know I am. Being solid, being a person that actually cares about people, being a person of my word, and really dedicated to my personal growth, and really love to motivate and just be beside people who do the same. I really genuinely believe in people. I really genuinely want people to be happy and feel motivated and be working towards or living in their purpose. That's something that I'm passionate about. I want people to love themselves, because I think most people are dope. There's some people that I don't like, don't get me wrong. But a lot of times I even feel like those people are just out of alignment. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're being something that you're not. And if you really are this, then yeah. But a lot of times I feel like people like that are just fronting, and it's become, they're too good of an actor or an actress. Like, this is who I am. I'm feeling like the suit's kind of loose. I can see a little bit of the real you on the, but hey, whoever you want to be. And I've played those roles myself. Again, things come full circle. I'm grateful to be in a space where I have more cognition of what's going on here. If I'm being myself, if I do something like, yeah, that wasn't really me, don't do that again. Or, oh, you stepped into that normie role, that was more of a societal thing than something you really wanted to do or wanted to say or whatever. And so that's why I felt myself resonating with Kanye, because he has made it a point that he likes to step out. He likes to be the person that breaks that normal script of society, because we definitely have one. We feel ourselves leading into it when whoever says that first line, hey, how you doing? Oh, good. How are you? Oh, good. Can't complain. Or regular water, what do you call it? Water cooler talk, or how's the weather? Okay, yep. This rain these last couple of days. Said we're playing a role. We don't actually care about the weather right now. I don't actually care. I'm playing out a script that's acceptable just to talk in a way that's acceptable. That's boring. We know it. And that's why we exhale almost into the seat when we get out the job to the car, because you would spend 8 hours being not you. And so a lot of people can't really resonate because they didn't necessarily make a career out of standing out. And this is something that I noticed though. So yes, he did build a career off standing out in the way that he did his music. However, I've been thinking about the concept of flow. I've been thinking about the concept of riding a wave. I've been thinking about the concept of momentum and how they all go together. So if you notice, Kanye was very aware of who had momentum in the space that he wanted to be in. And he had his own momentum as someone in Chicago who did beats, put his time in, started to get, he understood one, that he really had almost gone as far as he could in that space. So he moves to New York, starts to get momentum with the people there, and he knew it was Rockefeller Records. And he knew it was Jay-Z. He knew that whole team. They had the momentum at the time. He was like, yeah, that's what I need to do. He definitely understood in his mind that he didn't necessarily fit the mold, but he understood where the flow was, where the momentum was. So he made the transition and hooked on, gathered the momentum, and then did his own thing. And that's something that I struggle with because I didn't see it as strategy. I just felt like it was selling out. Like, no, I want to be my own 100% me from jump. I mean, you could go that route, but if it takes you 10 times longer, is it that much of a hit to your ego to still act with integrity, but to use strategy to help yourself grow? This is chess. You can do it this way, and we have choices. You can do it this way. Kanye could have stayed in Chicago and never moved to New York. Nah, I don't gotta move. I'm gonna get it right from my own city. And it might have taken him an extra 2 decades, or he might have always been like the Chicago legend that they do a little, some weird 30 for 30-esque or unsung. The person who never got their shine, but everybody knew was dope. Nah, he knew where to be. You be in the right places, be in the right spaces, be attached or in the circle of the people who are making certain moves, because honestly, that is an alignment. It's an alignment because that's where the right energy is that you need. That's a vibrational match to you. I don't have to be like Jay to realize that I am a genius in my own right. So I need to be around you. I need to be around the dames. I need to be around the people that don't really care about fitting in. They're making their own rules. They built their own table. That's the type of person that I am, even though I might not have my table built just yet. I got a couple of legs whittled over here. I know how I'm gonna do the tabletop, but I want to see somebody who's built it. I want to see how they started with this and then they built a leaf and it got bigger, and I want to see what that looks like. I understand where the momentum is, and I make myself go there, but it's because I know I'm a vibrational match for that thing. I'm not feeling like I'm down here and they're up here because of energy. They're here because their momentum took off earlier than mine. It's like feeling bad looking at somebody 20 and you're 12. No, you will be. You are a match to get to 20. You're a human's age, you'll get to 20. But analyzing, if it's a person you respect, analyzing how they moved at that age and how they moved at every age from, your age to that age can be a lesson. It's a huge lesson. It's a huge way that we as humans are able to heighten our learning curve by not having to go through the same exact trials and tribulations as the people before us. The people that came before us, we should be soaking up all the game from. And so I know he went in that space to, one, get game, two, put himself in a vibrational match for that energy so he can feel that momentum, put himself in the space where there was a lot of attention. Yeah, I need y'all to see this. I know I need that. And that's something, again, that I'm working on, is we do need to put ourselves in this space. You got something to say? It's different now because I could talk to my phone or my computer and this could go. But if you have something to say, you could keep it cute and do it in your room. Or you can go on the street and start talking to people. You could ask for someone to put you on the roster at a conference. Because I need people to hear this. I know it's dope. That's the energy. And so you put yourself where people are. Until they see you, they match to your energy. And then now that they know you, they can go with you wherever you go. Now that's when you have your own audience. Now that's when Kanye left, when he figured out a way. And I love how he always advocated for himself. He never waited for people to give him an okay or stamp, or when they needed, when they kind of set his album off to the side, he used some like 30,000 of his own money to go ahead and say, nah, I see what's going on. Y'all gonna have me on the waiting list for however long y'all deem, because you really don't see me as a fit. You're not quite sure where you want me to go, but let me show you the vision. So now that I'm here, now that I'm a part of the team, now that you say you respect a go-getter, right, a hustler or whatever, I am that. I'm not a hoe or a dame, but I am very me. And so he put his own money down and made it work. This is how we're going to do it. This is the vision. Had a whole listening party, and it went bananas. It went crazy based on his vision. And the people, even the people that for themselves probably experienced the same thing. I know Dame and Hov experienced people who were like, no, you're not it. And they were like, no, I very much am it. I'm going to show you. They end up doing it to somebody else. But that is our cross to bear. People don't have to see the vision. The vision is yours. Even some people that have went through similar situations, they still not going to see your vision. They see theirs. So you have to open your mouth. You have to put your own money down. You have to be able to explain your vision. Use the people that you have. Use his friends, connections. They was going into whatever studio late at night after everything was over. I think it was MTV. They were using their studios at night to piece it all together. Make it work. Nobody's entitled to see your vision for you. Nobody's entitled to stamp you. You have to make them see it. The guy who the Forex conference told me no, I asked for like, hey, okay, so if you're saying no, let me know why. And when he told me that mindset didn't fit into the flow of Forex, I'm like, I don't really agree with that at all. So I hope you have someone talking about it, even if it's not me. And I said, peace. It's no sweat. The brand is going to be the brand. I'm going to keep building. I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to keep learning. People come back around. They got to circle back. Oh, that was you? Yeah, that was me. That was me. When you didn't really see me, you didn't And that's okay, because sometimes we have to build the momentum for ourselves, because who we become in the process of building that momentum. Would he have been his same self if Dame had laid the red carpet out for him, gave him a crazy budget? Would the video even pop like that? Now we're getting into some real conversation. And I'm hearing myself is going right, like, boop. We don't like the opposition, but it's sharpening. It's sharpening. So I didn't take offense. It's just like, it's an energy to be like, it's cool. I'm gonna keep growing. This is gonna be, I'm gonna bring this vision into fruition. And then it's gonna be a different conversation, as it should be. I'm okay with earning people's respect, but it's only because I'm executing the vision. I'm not doing it just specifically to earn your respect. It's just something that's gonna happen because of my dedication to the brand. And that's what people respect and want to see, is dedication. They want to see it from you. They want you to prove themselves. It's almost this weird mind F situation. Don't step outside of the box. And then they're looking like, oh, okay, I see. Oh, okay, you stepped out. If you're going to step out, step. If you're being meek and meager about it, you're going to get chastised. But if you step out boldly, no, this is what I'm doing. And it's dope. This is my vision. Most people respect you for it just on the type of mentality alone that it takes to do something like that. Again, because of the society that we live in and how it makes us feel something for not fitting in. Again, it's probably that survivalist, you're outside of the herd, you're about to freeze to death. I don't know. I didn't come from cold weather, but we want to be included. We want to feel a part of the tribe. What happens when your tribe doesn't believe in what your vision is? What you deeply resonate with, that's something you're supposed to be doing. That's just a cross you have to bear. Stop trying to hide from it. There's no getting around it. Step into it firmly. And it's okay if it's gingerly at first, as long as you keep doing it. Definitely doing things outside of the box. I can definitely say that I have a spirit that's not as susceptible to because I said so, or do it just because, like, it has to make sense for me. And I've been like that since I was very little, very, very little. But we have to start thinking and feeling for ourselves, because all the people that you made nice for, you didn't shake up the box too much or shake things up too much for, what do they really even mean? What do they actually mean in your life? What's the monetary value attached to that versus actually going for it? What's the feel value? Something that we don't talk about. I know everything is measured in dollars, but this is priceless. Man, I gotta leave out of here. I gotta check out really feeling like, yeah, I did that. I did that. Yeah. And a lot of my story in general feels like Big Fish, feels like stories, like I already got stories of things that I did really to keep myself on the edge of my comfort zone. Stand up, biomedical research, having to do all this research in front of people who definitely trying to see if you know what you're talking about, public speaking. I mean, I need that. There's a part of me that craves that. I remember I hadn't traveled for a while. I had moved back to St. Louis. I was doing my real estate thing, figuring out Airbnb and how I can make a living outside of corporate. And before that, I had traveled a lot internationally, like long flights. And I'm like, okay, boom. It was nothing for me to hop on a flight. I wanted to travel somewhere else. I just felt like I needed it. Me and some business partners had parted ways. It was just a stressful situation. I really needed that reset. And I'm like, I need to travel somewhere. I want to travel somewhere. And I booked a flight. I didn't book a flight yet, but I thought about going overseas, and I got this fearful feeling. Something that I've done many, many times before: Spain, Cameroon. Why am I feeling like this now? Oh, my comfort zone has shrunk. Yeah, I need to go now. Now I need to go. And I was feeling a way about staying because I booked it for a month. Like, I need to be out of here for a good chunk of time. I booked it for a month. I was feeling, nobody's there. I moved back around my family. My comfort zone shrunk. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot. It's like there's a dystrophy that comes with uncomfortability when you're not exercising it and making sure that you're always expanding, always stepping into new and uncomfortable spaces. When you stop doing certain things, that comfort starts to fit tight. Starts to get real warm and snuggly. Your kiss of death. That's not what we want. I booked it immediately just based on, oh no. I can't be one of those people afraid of, oh no. I ain't never been out of my state because planes just scare me. Out the country, there's too much going on over there. It's too much going on here. In a lot of cases, way more going on here than there. The level of peace that I felt in other countries, not that any place is perfect, but the level of peace I felt in other countries, we're just used to at all times. You don't even know half the stuff that's actually going on because our media is so filtered. We get stories in a particular way to tell a particular story. You don't know anything about what's going on in the world, love. You've never been. If you realize it, you're only regurgitating information once again that somebody else told you. Go see for yourself if you feel that strongly about it. You know, I just be talking. I just be talking. No, but I resonate even with some of his mental health struggles. It feels like if you're a thinker, won't you be driven just a little bit, the C word? I mean, we're a floating ball of rock and lava in space. That ain't, if you think about that too much, that's not like what is normal? Is it just ignoring a lot of things? Because it seems like it. Because if you actually thought about a lot of the day-to-day things, there are bacteria in our body we're their whole universe. We could literally be a bacteria in somebody's body. Everybody, like, stop calling people crazy. I do think, I do think there's a more fitting word, because there are some people that are straight up unsafe. Like, look, if it's between me and you, if your reality is causing strife and struggle, and my literal life is in danger because of your reality, yeah, that's a wrap. And you're like, no, that's a wrap. But just for a person having an opposing viewpoint, leave people alone. Some of this is weird. Again, some of the stuff he said I didn't resonate with, but a lot of it I did. Think you're dope. Think your shit is the dopest. Would you have created it and put it out if you didn't think it was? If you did create something and you don't think it was the dopest, why is that? Ask more questions. Supply better answers. I ask myself a lot of questions. I will sit there and look at it from this way and that way and this way and that way. I want to be informed. I don't want to be a person that thinks everything they say is right. Like, I want to thoroughly even look at things that come out of my mouth. Definitely what comes out of somebody else's. We have to. We need to be more critical. Not in a way the because that has a connotation. That word definitely does. But just think more. Ask more questions. Ask better questions. And ask for better answers when stuff doesn't make sense. Now that can you explain that again? I don't really, because before you said questioning politics. He's just a person who questions. He has a mind that questions for whatever reason, however it works. Again, there's nobody that I fully agree with, so that's just a blanket statement. I don't gotta keep saying that. I don't even agree with everything I do. Let's keep it a bill. That's what I will do here regardless. So I was very inspired. It inspired me to continue to push forward. It inspired me to advocate for myself. It inspired me to say how I feel about myself, regardless of whatever the people are saying. And it resonated with me because I was proud of myself that I have been doing those things. I have been advocating for myself. But especially when you're a person that can stand out in certain ways, you get knocked back in another direction because people who are so used to going this way will literally try to force you mentally, physically, whatever, to do what they're doing because they're so afraid of what it means if you go over here. What does that mean for here? It means you go here and I'm gonna do my own thing. But they so staunchly believe that this is the only way to go. This is the only way to be. This is the right way. That they'll literally abuse you back here. And so people who naturally don't just go with whatever the flow is without feeling that particular flow have to be reaffirmed and have times where they sit back and just think and don't have anyone to talk to and just deep moments of internal reflection because you get beat up out here. No, don't do that. No, don't say that. That's ridiculous. You need to be more. I mean, just like, that's why it's called the path of least resistance. When you're doing what everybody else is doing, nobody says anything. Nobody says anything to you. It feels great. I don't want to be like that though. Unless somehow, some way, everybody around me just could start completely agreeing with what I do. And even then, I don't know if I really want that because what if I'm wrong or need polishing in a certain aspect, but nobody's real enough to tell me? That's another thing. Keep real people around you. And I feel like he started lacking that once his mother passed and he started to get more into that entertainment world. Then the crew he came up like, hustling, like making his way to the top. He started to be around less people as the accolades came that were actually invested in his own well-being, because he got around a lot of yes men, I'm guessing, because that's what people do in that world. You're the hottest, the latest thing, or this or that. They want to be in it. They want to be associated with it. They want to breathe it. They want to be in that energy. But it's not that they're actually giving anything. Not even good advice. Not even, I'm not really, that don't really, what am I trying to say? For someone to have the courage to tell you, I don't know if that's really your vibe. From what you told me, it doesn't really seem like that fits. Now, if it does, but even just to give that level of, I don't know if that seems out of alignment. Personally, you let me know if it's to make that person think. We need sharpening. We need people around us who actually will tell us when something seems off about anything. Do we have to take it every comment? No, but is it important for us to be around people that don't just say yes to every single thought and whatever we have if it actually doesn't resonate with them? That's very dangerous. Those people actually don't care about you at all. Very much the opposite. But it feels good. That's the caveat. But it feels good. It feels good after you have been around people and people haven't seen the vision for you to reveal that vision. The bandwagoners come on and all they're doing is praising. Oh, you're so dope. You're one of the greatest people of all time. You're one of the greatest minds of this century. You're what, man, that feels good, right? But it's like sugar. After a while, it tastes good, but it's definitely like things are going wrong in here internally. Like you're not supposed to live off sugar. You need the real, something that's really going to sustain you. And that's salt, which is actually essential to life, literally. And again, people providing you honest feedback. I feel like that was definitely the tipping point for him when his mother passed, as he felt like, damn, in my mind, I felt like he felt like, damn, I don't think there's anybody that's ever going to be able to be that real with me anymore. I can't trust anybody else. Nobody, their word, I knew she was coming from such a pure place, that she provided such solid guidance. I don't think anybody can ever be that for me. And there are people that are completely irreplaceable. Nobody will ever be his mother. But as you saw, he started to bring around people that his mother approved of in their energy, in the way that they continue to show up for her, for their family, like Cootie. He started to bring around people that his mother approved of their energy. Like, yeah, you're a real one. Because real ones really do know other real ones. When you're in a certain energy and you're not really, I'm not really trying to hop on every bandwagon. Like I'm real, realness. This is what it feels like. People recognize that energy. And they say, yeah, you got it, or no, you don't. It's a feeling. You can't really out talk it, or if you can, it doesn't last. That facade starts to crack up, to break, because that's you can only fake for so long. Time reveals. So I think that was a struggle, and I hope we all end up being in a place where we're able to keep people who we know will provide solid viewpoints and solid opinions, not just based on trying to please us or be in a certain space with us, but actually like genuinely caring about us and providing a perspective from that space. It's something that money can't buy. As I'm sure many a person, celebrity, that was what the quotes are for, but I didn't say celebrity. I thought it, but I didn't say. But yeah, I'm sure it's like that's one of the main, y'all, we gotta listen. We gotta listen to what these people are actually saying. I had all the cars and the this and the that, and I still wasn't happy. I had the all the money I could ever want, and I just broke down in my house because I just felt like nobody is. We have to, because it's something that I'm working on myself. There's a certain mindset that's required to get abundance. There's a certain mindset that's required to keep it. And then there's another mindset and a certain peace and a spirit required to maintain it all in a state, maintain your peace and your sanity in those type of situations and environments. A lot of people get to the top and their mindset was just like, that's everything. And they believed in themselves to the top. But honestly, the parts of their mindset that they didn't focus on the just peace, the this, the that. Maybe I can just believe in my vision. Nobody really has to stamp me for everything that I do in my life. I do need to keep some of the people around that may not agree with me, but I know they actually care about me. Not, man, I cut him off. He said my EP was trash. Maybe it was trash. Maybe he was saying, no, this isn't you. You can do better. It's all subjective though, because it really is about the energy at that time, the person who it was. Sometimes people are telling us the truth and we don't want to hear it. Like, it is a very unpleasant but necessary. And I also believe that sometimes when people say stuff like that, we're not supposed to, maybe we're supposed to take that time away to really let it resonate. It's going to be like, so that we have to be like, nah, I need some space from you. But we're still thinking about it. And sometimes when you realize that, you go back, hey, what you said about X, Y, and Z, I thought about it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying it, because it made me think about it later. Even though, we kind of fell out for a little bit, I appreciate that. Whether that be 5 days or 5 years, however long it takes you to get it. And sometimes it takes being around the people who say the things you think you want to hear and something goes terribly wrong. Imagine being in the studio and everybody, but they not really feeling it, or they're just trying to put on a show because they're in front of Kanye, and then the album is whack. One, I don't think he does that, because you could feel it. But I'm just saying, any artist, regardless, anything that we do, we have to have a certain mind that eat the meat and leave the bones. Everything that someone says isn't, we're not gonna take all of it, but just to get some type of feedback, you're like, no, I really like the chorus, I'm gonna keep that, but yeah, I think the other part is, I could switch that up. I think that would resonate with, yeah. I hear what you're saying. We need that. That's how things get better. It's and the mindset is also, yes, I am dope. Yes, I am the best. Yes, I am greatness, image of God walking in the flesh. Like, I can do the things we can do with our minds. Like, I'm telling you, we've hardly ever tapped into, not in the positive way. Not in the positive way. I've literally heard stories of people thinking of mothers who their only children, or I knew a person, not personally, but knew of him in track, where he passed and his mother literally grieved herself to death, like a healthy body, done. She thunk herself. Why can't we think ourselves this way? We can. It's just not something that, because of that focus on negativity all the time, and then pumping it and us consuming it and spreading it and gossiping and not being disciplined and lacking commitment in certain areas, like, that's us feeding the negative stuff. Well, if we feed this, then it is gonna go here. That's what this channel is about. That's what this is about. Watching ourselves. How do we get to this level? What do we do? Studying ourselves. Yeah. And then watch me. Watch you. Study your ascent. Like, really, man, watch me. Watch me go from here to what I'm going to be doing 5 years from now. Pay attention. Again, follow the people who've come before you, or even if they're beside you, y'all are peers. That's a pace keeper. Something that is very vital in the Olympics. People need boxers, need sparring partners. We need each other to, I love that. Yo, give me 10 friends. I would love to have a crew of dope people that hold me accountable, that I can share vulnerable things with, who they can tell me, you seem like you're stepping out of alignment. And I do. I have some really amazing people in my circle, and I'm 100% grateful for them. But I'm saying, you can never have too many people like that. I love how it feels, and I want more of those kind of people. It makes us into a certain type of spirit. It helps us grow just that much faster. And then the other part of studying the ascendant is watch people. This documentary is a study the ascent activity. Watch. We saw home videos from his childhood to now. Study that. What did he do? What were some of the things that he told himself? What were the type of people that he had? What were the type of people he had around when he wasn't at his best, where he was going through those mental situations? So I'm talking study it like a class, like a degree. Watch, take in information and then implement what you find. See how it works in your own life. Again, there's a lot of notes that I took from that. I'm grateful for having a mother, my own version of Donda, Audra, who's amazing, who always speaks life into us, who speaks life over herself. And there's something about that particular mother energy that really seeps into our spirits. That's important. My mother never has, that I can remember, like said anything terrible about me. She's always been on the team, like hard, heavy. You can do anything. I believe you girls are brilliant. Thank you, God, for my brilliant girls. They're this, they're that, they're. I'm talking about really speaking life. It's unfortunate that people, and honestly, I don't know, but I can imagine when people are saying, you know, Kanye's arrogant and that she's not, yeah, well, he could kind of calm it down a little bit, that she wasn't in agreement like that, that made her think something of, or them think something of her. So what? Why are we in a consistent state of trying to please everybody when we know that's literally impossible and not a thing? You wouldn't even like where you would end up if you literally did whatever appeased everybody else. Because it would have to be like, I mean, I just feel like that's a great way to be mentally unsound and damn near homeless. It would just make me happy if you would just let me live with you for free and just let me get into your savings account and just like, it kind of makes me upset when you don't do those things. So I would, people are wild. And a lot of the people, again, around us or that have some type of access to us, even in the public, don't have our best interest at mind, at heart, anywhere. They don't, it's nowhere close. It's about themselves. It takes a person of integrity to actually genuinely care about somebody else and know that they actually don't have to take advantage of people, because that's operating outside of a mindset of abundance. You don't have to get over on somebody else to get yours. You really don't. You really, really don't. It's very European. We don't do that. It's no need. You thinking you getting over here, you done messed up 8 things in the future. You done extended your timeline, your abundance timeline by 80 millennia playing around. Don't do that. Just don't. You're better than that. So if I can put everything into a nice, pretty nutshell to go ahead and wrap this up, and I know there'll be many more talks like this in the future, because this is just something I'm consistently like, man, what this? So powerful. I'm fascinated by the concept of actually consistently tapping in by people like, do this affirmation and this and that. And it's almost like I need to see. That's really a part where I started going even harder, because no, I need to see these results. We all somewhat struggle with consistency, commitment, and discipline. No, let me put in the work to really see what's on the other side of this that most people won't allow themselves to get to, because they don't mentally steady themselves enough to see that abundance on the other side. Yeah, but it's hard. Non-abundance is hard and very overrated. And I can't do. And I won't do. Okay? It's played out. Why? Why? If you can have with somebody say, all you gotta do is these three things. Let me bring this full circle. The reason someone tells you all you have to do is this and you can have that, we lack foresight. Is that the right word? We just lack insight sometimes in general. It's the same thing Kanye was saying about what his dad wanted to do to him and what specifically he told Kim to do so that his child wouldn't be there. He was making a decision based on the feelings of the now. And the reason why he started crying was understanding the abundance of the present moment, not having made the decision that he wanted to, not having the outcome that he thought he wanted to at the time. He was crying because he feels the love, the depth of life, and just appreciation for his daughter made him cry to think that he would have played himself out of the reality that he's in now. That it completely was almost like, thank God, thank God. He chastised himself and gave all props to Kim for protecting his baby's life because of he knows how sweet the abundance, and abundant that his reality is right then. Like, I would give everything for her to be here. And to think that I almost made a decision that would have robbed me of this reality. And that's the same thing that we're doing. We don't do the things that we're supposed to do. We don't follow our hearts. We go out of flow. We try to be what everybody else wants and likes instead of what we want and like, because we can't feel how sweet that other reality is. How amazing it would be to have resources and to be doing what you love. How the self that's in that future moment's like, please get here. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. Please do it. I mean, it's not even close. The ease and the just flow through and no friction energy is nothing compared to the energy where we have what we want. We're doing what we want. We're living in just a state of happiness and peace. Or creatively challenged and putting out like this reality, that reality does not pales in comparison to this one. Go ahead and get it done. And that's why when people get to that, they look back and like, man, I gotta thank my past self, because thank God I'm here. Thank God they stuck their heels in and got me to here, because here, man, I can't imagine not being here. It's scary to think about not being where that dedication, that hard work, that commitment, that sticking it out, that putting your own money down, that believing in yourself, consistently telling yourself that you're the greatest, consistently affirming yourself, putting yourself around the right environments to get that flow and momentum, making sure that you have people around you who are real and that'll tell you about yourself. You doing all those things now will get you there, and your there self will be forever indebted. And then all you'll be able to say to other people is, no, you got to do it. Trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. You got to do it. It's so worth it. It's not no comparison. So whatever it is that you have to get into this week to get your their self there, to meet your their self in that reality, let's do it. Who cares about what other people are saying? Take the meat, leave the bones where you have to, advocate for yourself, put the right people around you, put yourself in the right environments, and get it done because it's very worth it. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one. It's been a realist as always.